Okay, I'm just going to do a quick, honest review on Factfulness, the book by Rosling. I listened to this book on Audible. It's really very interesting. It's the sort of thing that is really useful for, you get a lot of people nowadays who basically believe everything they read in the paper. They become very negative. They talk about how things are so much worse nowadays than they used to be. Quite often the older generation, there are people I know who constantly quoting me things that have happened in the news, in the paper, that really negative, saying how the state of things is terrible. And this book just kind of, from Rosling's lifetime of work and research, from UN statistics, just kind of paints a picture of how things actually are nowadays, and how things are so much better than they were just 10 years ago, certainly 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago, in terms of people's health, people's health care across the world, education, the number of people who are getting educated, vaccinated and things like that. And just gives kind of a factful picture of how things actually are. He acknowledges the fact that we've still got a long way to go in terms of properly, getting there and having a world where everyone is kind of doing well. There's obviously still huge inequality, and he acknowledges that. He isn't at all arrogant in his style either, which is really nice. He doesn't sort of speak to the reader as if they're really stupid for kind of thinking the things that they think. He kind of admits that actually it's very human to just kind of get sucked up and take for granted the things that we hear in the media. Why wouldn't we kind of agree with that stuff and take it in? Well, actually, you have to be quite critical in the way you think, and actually realise that papers are there to sell papers essentially, and people want to buy stuff and consume stuff that makes them angry, which sounds really stupid, but anger is quite an addictive emotion. And people of a certain generation particularly like to be able to moan and quote things, and this is how papers are sold basically, and how the news kind of works, how the media works. So it's very interesting. Really good book. Like I say, I read a lot of books. I've read I think I'm on about close to 50 so far this year, and this is probably my favourite, certainly in my top 2 of the year so far. It's definitely one that I'll be reading again. Just really nicely written, really well researched. The guy Rosling died, I think, before it was properly published, and certainly before it became popular and was so successful, so you kind of missed that. But he's done lots of TED Talks, lots of videos on YouTube, so if you don't have time to read the book, then certainly listen to that, because he's got lots of stuff that's really worth listening to. But yeah, Factfulness is a great book that lots of people should read. Really recommended.